Welcome to Power of the Tribe podcast. I'm your host, John Connors. I'm also the founder and head instructor of Connors Martial Arts in Norwood, Massachusetts. We teach Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Muay Thai, kickboxing, and mixed martial arts. And I'm here with my host, Dan Robin. How you doing, Dan?
I'm good. How you doing, John? I'm all right.
You're okay?
I'm a little below average, but I'm all right.
I'm a little off myself.
Yeah.
Is Mercury in retrograde or something like that?
I feel sick.
You feel sick?
Yeah. My dog was sick, and now I've probably got like a dog disease. Can you catch diseases from dogs? I don't think it's like mange or anything. But
well, you can get mad cow disease, right? So you probably can.
I probably have like like some kind of thing that.
Canine lepto.
Yeah, exactly.
Spiriosis.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's the matter? Is your dog okay?
Yeah. She's old.
She's old.
Yeah.
Is she the Great Dane or is she the
Leonberger?
The Leonberger.
Yeah. She's 10, so it's an old dog.
And it's a very big breed.
Yeah. 150 pounds. 60 pounds in her prime.
So those dogs don't tend to live as long as some of the other breeds, right?
Yeah. 6 to 8 years. She's 10.
Wow.
So.
What's her name?
Penny.
Penny.
Nice. My kids named her.
Nice.
But I don't know. We didn't talk about my sick dog.
But you're a little, and you feel a little sick.
Yeah. But the thing is, for me, if I'm sick, but I don't have like a clog, I'm not blowing my nose. I always can't tell if I'm imagining it. I don't know if that's strange, but I'm always feel like if I don't have like I'm blowing.
If you don't
my
have
nose,
symptoms.
Yeah. If I don't.
Yeah. Well, then you're not sick.
What
the hell are you talking about?
Well, the obvious symptoms. If I just feel bad, then
Oh.
I'm like, am I just like imagining that I feel bad because I'm tired or? But then
Right.
I've done that before and then been like I have like a fever.
I understand.
But if
what
I'm
you're
not
saying.
like blowing my nose or
Right.
I don't have the obvious symptoms, I'm like, am I just being like puss? You know what I mean? Like, am I just tired
Or you could sense that an infection is about to take hold of you. So you are infected with something, but it really hasn't got going yet.
Yeah.
I feel that. And then when I do, I try to rest immediately, and I tend not to get sick.
Yeah, maybe that's what I should do. But then I also feel like, am I imagining this? I should still work out, or I should go into jiu-jitsu or something like that.
Oh, right. Yeah, because you don't want to indulge that too much.
So I did miss some jiu-jitsu, but I've been going in. I'm back now in the gym and working out a fair amount. I feel like my head's in, if I can talk a little bit about my jiu-jitsu for a second, because I guess we talk about this on this podcast where I guess there's this idea that what is the best approach to stay with training and to train all the time. And now what I've decided is, first of all, maybe the obvious point is different for different people. But then the less obvious point is, for me, it's different now than at other times. You know what I mean? So it's sort of like, some people might say you're training for something. You might have to have this sort of, I'm coming in, I'm 24/7, I'm a madman, I'm training every day. Like maybe that's good. And then other periods of your life, that's not the best motivation. You're just not going to feel like I want to go in every day. I want to be so for me right now, what's working is something that would not work for other people, is that I'm sort of really, if you'll bear with me a second, it's like I'm not caring what happens to me on the mat. Like if I win, if I lose, if I get tapped, if I tap someone else, if I have a good day, if I have a bad day. Like some people, they're inspired. They want to be really revved up. Like they want to be really pumped by a good day, really throw stuff on the ground, or slam the mat if they have a bad day. What's working for me right now is legitimately not caring. Like I'm driving home, not thinking about it.
I think that's the definition of mindfulness, is non-judgmental observation. So you're just experiencing what you're experiencing and observing it. So you notice your results, but you're not having an opinion about it.
And it's helping me notice the results too. Because if you're slamming the mat and being like, I suck, I can't believe I just got tapped by this guy, like you're not thinking about anything else.
Which, by the way, is always kind of insulting to the person who just tapped you.
It's a huge
Whenever
insult.
I tap somebody and they do that, that annoys me. It's like, is it that hard to believe? Is it that shocking that I tapped you, that you're slamming your fist into the mat? What's that all about?
Another insult on the mat that I get is like, maybe I pass someone and they'll give me sort of like a good. like, thank you. Like, that's okay. Like, I get it if a black belt says that. But sometimes it's someone that's, not even, my level or newer. And they're like, good, that was good. And I'm like, well, thanks.
That
Why are you
condescending compliment.
Why do you get to say that to me? Good. Mm-hmm.
It's funny, all the psychological strategies people employ to not feel bad that you're passing their guard. Yeah.
I guess, but that's always an insult. That's a funny one. Like, oh, that was nice. And then sometimes I've had brand new guys sort of giving a running commentary when I'm rolling. I'll do something like I'll do something, and they'll be like, "Sweet, that was sweet. What was that?" And I'll be like, "That was me shoving. That was a shove. What was that?
What do you call that?
Yeah,
I call that shove.
Whoa, yeah, exactly. Whoa, what was? How'd you do that? Like, well, I shoved you, and then I jumped on you. Like that was like not.
Well, at least they're appreciating the art, I guess.
Yeah,
in
yeah.
the moment.
I think they're seeing art a little bit.
Oh,
when
like
it's
not really there.
Magic, where it's like, you just didn't do anything, or like, how did you not tap to that? I'm like, I don't know. You weren't squeezing that hard,
right?
Like,
yeah, you weren't doing it correctly.
Yeah, exactly. You were doing it wrong. But these guys would come in with a running commentary the whole time. Like, oh, nice. Oh, whoa. What are you? Like, just calm down. Just roll.
I've seen people laugh sometimes, and I think that is a good way to keep your mind playful. But it also can sort of be a strategy too to like de-escalate
just
hostilities.
Laughing, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you feel like I'm just being we're friendly here.
Yeah.
We're buddies. But anyway, where I'm at is I just don't feel bad. And what the interesting distinction for me is I always knew that I shouldn't. Like, I'd always say that I shouldn't feel, whatever happens, you're just learning. And there's some guys that have always done it in our gym that just, they'll tap, they'll slap hands, they'll go again like it's nothing. And I always said, that's what I want to do. That's what I want to be. But I'd be driving home berating myself or literally like muttering to myself.
I would love
like
to say that
suck.
I've evolved myself to that point where I don't care if I get tapped, but I honestly can't say that. I'm almost 20 years in and I'm still.
But you're at a different spot too. You're like the gym owner and the black belt.
Right.
Like, I don't have the reputation to lose. You know what I mean? It's sort of, and I sort of really don't care. And I do think it's helping me focus on just what happened instead of just, am I doing well or not? Because then I'd think I don't want to be tapped. And then I wouldn't try something new that I knew was going to be bad. I knew I was going to lose position. I knew it was going to not go well for me. And now I sort of don't care. So I'm like, let me just try this thing or that thing. And then I don't, like if I get tapped, I don't do the ego saving. Like, oh, I was trying one of those strategies someone could do. Well, I just wanted to see if I could pull that escape and like sort of make the person, sort of subtly tell the person I wasn't trying.
Wasn't really trying.
Yeah, I'll never do that now. Like if they tap me, I just tapped, and I won't say, well, I'm trying something new, and so that's why you got me, basically. I don't do that. So it's good, I feel like I'm just trying to try something. That
sounds very good.
Mix it up. And
to give you some feedback, the last couple of times I rolled with you, you've made huge improvement.
What I found about improvement, though, is that it can be in jiu-jitsu, it can be in one area. It's sort of not, like you're passing. I think where you thought I said I was getting better at passing.
Yeah.
And then maybe, then suddenly I'm on my back and I'm not doing better,
I think of the analogy of a brick wall, and you can only put one brick in at a time. That's what I think about jiu-jitsu. So I think that's perfectly natural that you're going to get better in one place.
And one interesting thing about jiu-jitsu too, which I guess only the new people would know this, but it's that you can fix one little thing and get a lot better. And it's not so it's not like you have to learn this whole sequence of moves and you have to, drill something for 6 months and then you'll improve. Some things are like that. But sometimes it's like, if you keep your head down, you're getting guillotined every time or getting choked every time. Pick your head up. You fix that.
A lot of times it's one simple principle, and it takes you to a whole other level.
Yeah, keep your elbows in. Keep your head up.
because it removes a hole that's in your game in a lot of different places.
And like a lot of sports, you have to keep reminding yourself of the basics again and again. We might have even talked about this on this podcast, but you have world champ level boxers, and you have their corners yelling, "Keep your hands up, keep your chin down." You know,
Right.
That's what they're yelling at them.
Yeah.
So
Remember when Pacquiao got knocked out?
which
Like knocked cold. I think it's the only
that
time.
guy, yeah, like really out. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, how the hell did that happen? It never happened to him before. And he just sort of jumped in at the wrong time and just got blasted.
Yeah.
You think somebody at that level, that would never happen to them, but
Yeah, I can't remember if he had his chin up or what. I mean, he must have.
I don't think it mattered. He got hit so hard and so square. Holy cow.
Yeah, I remember. It was a kind of knockout, which is like he might not ever be the same.
Right. Yeah. He was on his face asleep. Yeah, so you wonder, how did that happen?
I don't understand that level of mastery at all. Someone like Mayweather being like, I've never really been hit that hard. I don't know how it's possible. I don't know how
I don't know if that's true. He's gotten staggered a couple of times in his career. I don't think he's ever been knocked down, though.
But to be barely ever hit, I don't know how you.
He's
ever
amazing.
Even
Yeah.
how that's possible. How someone doesn't show you something new. But I don't even get that at like the high, maybe even your level that you're competing at, why you can't just be caught with some trick that you never saw before. You know, where
You
someone
definitely
expects
can.
you to do. You know, the standards, the right kind of defense, but it puts you into a position for some trick that you've never seen.
I think it happens, especially in jiu-jitsu, because there's so many possibilities. Boxing, you're just, you're throwing punches and you're moving around. I think it's a little bit more limited, not to denigrate boxing. It's an amazing science. But Mayweather got hit with a good uppercut by McGregor.
Yeah.
McGregor's first professional boxing match in his life, and he landed a solid uppercut.
Yeah.
Who would have thought that would ever happen? Mayweather's the greatest of all time, and it's McGregor's first professional boxing match. I thought I was wondering, is he actually even going to land a punch? And he did.
That's what I thought. It might be 2 rounds, and he's knocked out. And I didn't even. I thought the people making predictions were way off. They were sort of. I heard a lot of, well, Mayweather either it'll be Mayweather by decision or Conor by knockout or something like this, and I'd be like, what are you talking about? Like,
I
Conor's
figured
no chance of knocking him out.
Right. I figured Mayweather would just coast to a decision, and not really get touched.
But I also figured if he wanted to knock him out, he could. It's the guy's literally first boxing match, and he's knocked other guys out.
Right. But it's a risk-reward thing. Like, I think if you're trying to knock somebody out, you're probably putting yourself in a little bit more jeopardy. So it probably wasn't worth the risk. But he ended up having a perfect strategy. Let McGregor get a little tired from punching him, and then put him away that way.
So have you heard I can't imagine this happening, but there's rumblings about Khabib and McGregor now?
I heard, I can't imagine that would happen, but Mayweather's a very smart guy, so I think he entertains a lot of this stuff for publicity's sake, just to keep his name in the mix.
Well, after the boxing match with Conor, he started talking about how he'd fight him in the UFC, in MMA.
Oh, yeah.
And Floyd was making statements, to that effect, like maybe now it'll be in the octagon, and he's training with Tyron Woodley.
Yeah.
And there was no way it was going to happen. There's absolutely no way
he would. Yeah.
A guy with that much money getting in a sport where he's just going to get destroyed, there's no way.
Right.
And for people that haven't trained it, I can't imagine anyone that's trained not knowing this, but some people think, well, maybe Floyd could do well. He could avoid the takedown, and it's like you can't avoid the takedown. He won't be able.
I don't think so. And then the leg kicks alone would be brutal. Yeah.
And that's even watching the boxing match, you saw that it's not going to be that easy for Floyd on the feet with Conor kicking, because it's not like the hands are so. Floyd was much better boxer, obviously, but it's not like, well, he's going to run up and knock him out, so he's not going to get any kicks off. Like Conor would be getting knees in, kicks in.
Yeah.
It would be brutal on the feet. That was the one question I didn't know. It was like, just in a stand-up fight, what would happen? Conor, Floyd, and I came out of the boxing match thinking Floyd would not want any part of a kickboxing match.
If McGregor had all his tools,
yeah,
I think he would handle him, I would think,
not even MMA, just stand-up.
Kicking and punching. Yeah. Yeah.
knees. I mean, it would
Connor
be
has that great teep, that
Yeah.
front kick, and his leg kicks. All his kicks are good.
Yeah.
Gets spinning kicks. He's got all kinds of kicks. Yeah.
So how is Floyd going to even talk about boxing Khabib though? I mean,
I don't know. I think for him, he probably thinks if I could legitimately sell this at all, I'm going to make another 50 million, 100. I don't know how much he would make.
well, if he made another thought is say he made 120 million maybe fighting Conor.
I think so.
Some-
I heard
So
something
what if
like
he
that.
goes, Khabib, you're not even going to get half that. That would be 50 million. Right?
Not a bad payday,
Right? So maybe that's the economics of it. You go, look,
Yeah.
not even half are going to tune into this one. But it's still a $50 million payday. And for Khabib, say Conor made 80, 90 million, whatever he made. I don't remember the number, do you?
I think I heard 80 million, but yeah.
So say it's 80 million.
Uh-huh.
And you go, Khabib's only going to make, again, less than half that. And it's 30
30
million.
million. Wow.
Right? And Khabib's making what per fight? Less than $1 million now? Maybe $1 million.
He made a couple million. Yeah,
Couple million
I don't
maybe
know.
for the Conor
No
fight,
idea.
but
Yeah.
before that less.
Oh, yeah, I'm sure.
So if he could make 25 million in a fight, that's his career.
It'd be crazy not to do it, but
Yeah.
I wonder if he's motivated by that because he was making noise already that he was going to leave the UFC. I don't know if that's just a bluff.
Who knows?
Yeah.
But I didn't you? I heard Khabib sort of talking about Mayweather and just running, sort of saying, you're 50-0, I'm 27-0, or why don't only one king of the jungle. Did you see that? He was sort of did a little promotion. I mean, why not? If you can walk away with, he won
Yeah.
fight with Floyd as Conor was motivated. I think that was his motivation. If you get that one fight,
It's
it's
a
your
lot of
whole. It's
money.
more than your whole
Yeah.
career.
It's crazy.
And
if you think about his prize fighting, which Mayweather does and McGregor does as well, then it is all about the money.
Yeah.
I think Khabib, I don't know if they're in it for the prize fighting, but when you dangle that much money in front of somebody, it'll be about the prize fighting pretty quick, right?
But Khabib's not even a stand-up fighter. I mean, I can't imagine. But all that said, I'd probably get the pay-per-view. I don't know.
You'd probably watch it.
It'd be such a big event.
Yeah.
It'd be ridiculous. But I mean, there'll be a lot of people that say this is ridiculous, but I'm going to watch.
Right. It's like a
You know?
train wreck. You
Yeah.
got to watch it.
And so it might happen. I don't know.
I remember reading this article. I think it was in Sports Illustrated decades ago. It's supposedly a true story where they literally set up a train wreck. They had a track, and they had these two steam engines. This was in the 1800s, I think. And they set up bleachers around to watch it. Let's watch what happens when we run these two steam locomotives into each other. You know what happened?
They smashed into each other.
It was like a bomb. So then
Oh.
all the shrapnel went up in the air. People got killed and
Oh, really?
injured. It was a complete disaster. Yeah.
They didn't. The bleachers were too close.
Yeah. Yeah. Some poor planning. Logistics were off.
In the 1800s, though, they were like, you might die anything you go to.
That's
You
right.
At any time, you just die. And
You might get consumption, whatever the hell that was, right?
yeah, they're just like, probably the families were like, yeah, well.
We lost about 6 months on average.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, it happens. Yeah, they went to a public event. Whenever that happens, someone might die. And the people dying, they were lying there like, yeah, well, I thought this might happen.
That's a very good point, Dan.
In the 1800s.
Now you think you're going to live to 100 probably, right?
Yeah. But even, I mean, well, I don't, but a lot of people.
You don't think you're going to make it to 100?
Well, nah, not 100.
What do you think?
Living a little too, I don't know if I'm a clean enough living.
Right. Right.
But everyone goes, you hear all these things like the first person that's going to live to 150 is already born. And I don't think that's true at all. I think people don't understand what's happening with people getting older. Their average is going up because there's less infant deaths, and more hanging on at the end. But the oldest person ever was from like the 90s. And, there's been people that lived to 110 in the 1800s and 1700s, and that highest number is not going up.
The highest number's not going up. Right.
It's not really
right.
going up, yeah.
You don't hear about somebody who's 130 right
yes,
now.
now there's a 130, and next year there's a 140. Like, that's never happened.
It's not happening.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's not even a 120.
The end of the bell curve is not moving.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
It's just that average is moving up.
The average is moving. We had Mr. Herb Cavett in here, 81.
Yeah. He's doing pretty good.
He's doing pretty good, right?
Yeah, he was doing great. But he's also, he's doing things to facilitate it, right? Exercise and diet. And
Yeah, he's on top of it. Yeah, he works hard with his fitness and he eats super healthy. So he's getting that part of it done.
so, aside from dying, back to the Khabib fighting
Yeah.
Floyd, I wanted to ask you what you thought about the Conor Khabib fight and the aftermath, both things.
I thought it was very interesting. I kind of expected the fight to go that way because Khabib is so good at keeping you down when he gets you down, and he has a style where he fatigues people. And I thought that would happen. I thought Conor would ultimately get fatigued and wouldn't be able to stay in the
And
fight.
Connor's been susceptible to fatigue too.
That
So
seems
we've
to
seen
be
it.
the case. He got in the first Nate Diaz fight, he got fatigued, but I think he solved that problem in the second fight. I think he was just loading up too much on his shots, and Nate is a little farther away from him than some of his other opponents, so they weren't landing maybe quite as hard as they might, even though he has so much power. And then he kind of figured it out in the second fight, although he did get a little tired at the end of the second fight, right? And I think he lost the last round, but he was up 3-1 going into the last round. So yeah, I kind of saw the fight going that way.
What's amazing about Khabib is not just I sort of get that. Okay, you can't stop the takedown, especially if you're Connor's
I think he
not
can
there.
stop the takedown. I think the really tough part with Khabib is getting back up. He's so good at not letting guys get up, and he makes them pay for it. He just exhausts them. Yeah.
That's what even the fact like every fight, Khabib takes you down, and then you end up with your legs crossed, like he gets your feet crossed. And the amazing thing is, you still can't stop it. Even that,
Right.
You think you'd at least be like, okay, at some point maybe he'll get me down, but at least he won't cross my ankles over each other. But
You think
they
one of
didn't
these
even
days
stop that.
somebody is going to figure out the problem of Khabib and be able to get right back up, but it hasn't happened yet. But I'll tell you this. Conor I don't think took as much damage as a lot of the other opponents, Khabib's opponents.
Conor did really well, and I think he won a round. Wasn't it the first round that Khabib ever lost? Like
He
he
did.
literally didn't even lose a round.
The
prior to
judges gave McGregor the third round. So they gave Khabib the first two, McGregor the third, and then Khabib finished him in the fourth.
because the other narrative that people like to say that I don't agree with at all is just like, well, Conor's not sucks, but he's not that great. He's had some lucky wins, and Conor's really, really good, right?
Yeah,
His striking's really good. He has really good game plans. He came in, he did really, really well.
the other thing I took away from it, Dan, is Conor is playing a different game than Khabib. So Conor, he's a prize fighter. He's in it to make money, and he's sensational. He's a work of art in a way. He created himself. If you look at him when he was younger compared to him now, the tattoos, the look, the way he talks, he created a persona, and he lives it. So it's not like he's faking it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But he had so much creative energy going into becoming who he is. It's really amazing. And Khabib, I think where they're coming from is they're sportsmen, and they're going to, here's the sport. We're going to figure out how to get the W, and we're not going to worry about all this other stuff about our tattoos and what we look like and what we talk like and how we dress. So they have so much less that they're concerning themselves with. And they're just like, we're just going to get the W. It reminds me a little bit of Belichick and the Patriots. Belichick's going to win the Super Bowl. If he wins 3-0, or if he wins 53-0, he'd be just as satisfied. They just want to win, And if Brady throws for 400 and they win, great. If Brady throws for 120 and they rush for whatever and they win, great. It's all about the winning. And it seems to me that Khabib and his camp they're coming from that place, which is, I think it gives you a strategic advantage,
Yeah, less to concern yourself. And I think with Belichick, you see it when he almost, I know he sort of plays himself up, but with Belichick.
Who plays himself?
Belichick.
In what
plays
way?
himself up in like being deliberately kind of difficult sometimes.
Like being obtuse and being like
he
this
plays up his
enigma.
obtuse side,
Yeah.
and he plays up, we're going to Kansas City, or all like, and
Cincinnati.
yeah. Yeah, but this last week was Kansas City.
right.
Yeah, we're going to Cincinnati. He's like, but like he was like that again. It was sort of like, do you think this is a must-win game? And but I actually think that Belichick doesn't understand some of the questions. Like his brain doesn't work that way when they say, do you think that this game against Kansas City will really show who is the favorite in the AFC to go to the Super Bowl? And I think he's at some level legitimately like, I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well,
like I'm looking at X's and O's and I'm not, I
think you're right. And it's a little bit like Khabib and Conor.
Yeah.
Belichick is over here like Khabib. We're just looking for a W. And Conor's, I'm trying to sell pay-per-views. I'm trying to do this. I'm not only competing, but I'm also an entertainer. And the reporters, that's all entertainment. So you get an entertainer talking to a competitor, there's a disconnect there that when Belichick talks to him, it comes out pretty clearly. He doesn't give a shit about entertaining anybody. He doesn't really care. It looks like he's doing those press conferences under protest, right?
Yeah.
And
it's working.
Yeah, exactly. It does.
Working for Khabib too.
I think so. Yeah.
But
and then so that's what I saw. Yeah. And Conor handled the loss really well. He had some Instagram post or Twitter post that said, there's that phrase, we lost the battle, but we won the war, or something like that.
Yeah.
He said something to that effect, but it wasn't clear what he meant by it. But I think he just means
how did they win the war?
I think he's just promoting himself. He made more money, and he's still going to keep going. And he didn't really get hurt, I don't think. He didn't get that banged up, I don't think.
So don't you think so about the, all the antics around that fight? I mean, I know the hostility from Khabib and his camp is real. I mean, that's really seems obvious. Do you think the hostility from Conor and his camp towards Khabib is real? I'm not as sure. I mean, I think they were pissed about what Khabib did to Artem. And, when he
I guess, yeah. Uh-huh.
But I don't know how much they, like when Conor's throwing a hand truck at the bus, some part of him is thinking about promotion. Don't you think? I mean, some part of him is thinking.
I think so. I think it might have been sort of like
100%.
pro wrestling. We're going to hit somebody with a
100%.
chair, kind of.
Yeah, not 100%. Like I believe. So this is the distinction. I don't think he's 100% saying I'm throwing this for promotion. Like he's probably mad, and he really wants.
He's
to
all fired up.
Like if Khabib came out to fight, he would have fought. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm really not expecting him to come out. Like he's really there. He's angry, but somewhere in him he knows the film's rolling, and he knows that the papers will pick it up. Right?
Yeah, definitely. What I found interesting about it is I found the fans were very reactive. So people seem to be strongly in one camp or another. So they were either like, Khabib shouldn't have done that. Why did he jump over the thing? And then other people were like, well, Conor started it. And, it was very interesting how I guess the UFC and Conor did a good job of promoting the fight because they got people in camps and really kind of fired up and reactive about it. Like people were really, really mad at Conor after Khabib jumped over the cage. This was really strange. Yeah.
Well, most people, first of all, they pick their camps ahead of time, and then no matter what happens, they decide their camp was in the right. That's the way most people.
It's like our political environment now. It seemed very similar to that to me.
It's like you're just gonna, no matter what you see on the screen, you're gonna think your guys are right,
and you're gonna have completely opposite interpretations of the events and what they mean.
What was interesting to me watching live. I don't know if it was the camera angles, but first Khabib jumped the fence, and I was like, what is he doing? Attacking someone. Then I see Conor sort of against the fence, and some guy's punching at him, another guy sucker punches him from behind, and I was like, man, Conor, right after this fight, these guys. So to me,
3 more fights.
Yeah. I was like, but my impression at the time was Khabib attacked someone, and then 2 of Khabib's camp jumped the fence and attacked Conor again. It was 100%. Khabib's camp was terrible, and Conor didn't do anything.
So you thought Khabib's camp instigated
everything?
Okay.
Then later, you know, when you saw some different camera angles and things that I didn't see during the pay-per-view, it was a little different. You know, first of all, it was, okay, Conor's guy yelled something at Khabib. All right, he still shouldn't jump the fence, but he didn't do it unprovoked. Then you saw as soon as Khabib jumped the fence, Conor's guy threw a haymaker at him. You know, it wasn't like Khabib.
But Khabib actually jumped on top of him.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it looked very cool. They had all
Yeah.
these different eagle memes. He looked like an eagle. Like he jumped with his 2 feet first, like trying to like.
Yeah, what a weird instinct to do that, right? Like maybe just
seemed to be effective though. Yeah, it's pretty crazy though,
jumping
right?
on
Yeah.
someone. But then in the cage, you saw Conor start to climb the cage.
Yep.
Conor clocked somebody, and Conor threw a few punches.
Well, here's what I saw, Dan. I saw Conor started coming over the cage and looked like somebody from the commission was holding him a little bit.
Yeah.
And I got the sense that if he really wanted to, he could have jumped over, but he kind of delayed himself at the top of the
Yeah.
cage. And then one of Khabib's camp came up on top of the cage near him, and they were sort of facing each other.
Yeah.
And at that point, I think McGregor threw a punch.
Yeah.
So some people were saying, well, McGregor threw the first punch, but I was like, well, he's kind of in a provocative situation. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I didn't think it was completely absurd that he would throw a punch there. I don't know.
No, it seemed like the fight was on at that point,
Right.
but both camps were throwing punches. You know,
Yeah.
it wasn't like here's an attack and
I will say this. I thought it was potentially very dangerous because if sort of a riot started, I don't know how many people were in that's auditorium or stadium, whatever it is, but if you have 10,000 people and it starts getting ugly, that's really
because
dangerous.
then the fan bases,
Yeah, people got really hurt.
I actually think it didn't erupt as badly as it could have, right? I
It
mean, I
didn't,
hear
right? Crazy.
And I think you were talking about, what was the big boxing match where that happened? Like there was the melee after the fight,
Oh,
and
yeah, I
then
don't
all
remember,
the
but
fans
yeah.
started, and all the camps started fighting each other. Some heavyweight, was it Holyfield Bowe or
I don't remember, but
something like that?
every sport has had these crazy incidents.
Yeah,
Remember when the Boston Bruins climbed into the stands?
yeah,
And then I think they were playing against the Rangers. It seems to me it was New York Rangers, and some fan. Here's how I remember it. I'm sure people could YouTube it. Some fan like reached over the bench where the Bruins were and took a stick and like pokes one of the players, and they were like, "Well, it's on now." And like 4 of the Bruins climbed up into the stands to chase these guys down. And I remember they grabbed one of them and kind of punched him in the head a little bit, and he was fetaled up on the ground. But it was crazy.
I know. Oh,
But it wasn't. I
yeah,
don't think
yeah.
it was ultimately anyone got hurt that badly. But it was a funny spectacle seeing guys in skates in the
Yeah, yeah,
stands. Yeah.
Yeah, because they all jumped up.
And
'cause
that
then
must
they were
have
trying
been
to help each other.
when do you think was that? Late 70s,
Yeah, it was a
early
long time
80s or
ago.
something. And then in basketball, it's happened. Guys went in the stands. Remember, they punched a few people.
I think I'm in the minority, but like I almost don't get, like I'm firmly on the side of the athletes. I'm sort of like, look, if you went to a game and you end up fighting with someone, like,
You shouldn't be doing that.
it's like
yeah.
obviously you've done so. You're supposed to be. People sometimes go with this idea like that they're in it. They're like that. Like I'm gonna bother the guy by yelling something.
They
I'm
want to
gonna
be
throw
in it,
something.
right?
Like, it's like no, you're watching it. You're not in it. So if
What-
you end up on and like so, because even on TV, right? Like or even the ex-athletes will say, you know, someone in the stands will say something really rude and get into it, and then the athlete will grab them, or even the ex-athletes will say, well, no, it's his bad. You can't be grabbing a fan. And I'm always like, well, why not? Why? Because when someone, I always hear this. Well, you can't touch a fan, and then everyone nods because of the tone of voice. But I'm like, no, you can touch it. Why not? Like, well, they pay the tickets. I'm like, oh, and is everyone going to stop going? Everyone's going to stop going because you grabbed that one fan? No one's going to stop going.
So some knucklehead at Gillette Stadium threw a beer on one of the Kansas City Chiefs when the guy ran it back for a
I saw
touchdown. They said that guy's banned for life.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, the Patriots are so successful. If you do anything dumb like that, like,
If he's a
see you
big-
later. See you next life. We don't need you.
Yeah. If he's a big fan, wouldn't he probably rather the guy just punched him? Be like, well, now I can just come back the next game. I got punched once.
Oh, right.
Yeah, it's probably better than being banned. I think just getting hit by the player. I mean,
Oh yeah.
if the chief could have punched him.
But I don't think that, they shouldn't be yelling the horrible things. People are crazy.
Yeah.
Whenever I don't go to a lot of live sporting events, but I notice people get an abnormal satisfaction from having themselves up on the Jumbotron, a
Right,
picture of
yeah.
themselves. They go berserk for that. It's a little crazy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's I guess that's all they want to be part of the spectacle.
They want to be part of it. You're right. And they do the wave. I went to the Red Sox with my son a while ago, and the wave is, people want to do the wave. They want to sing. Yeah, they want to be part of the spectacle. Yeah.
And then they get so up. Like I was at a Patriot game where the Patriots even won, and there was some like innocent looking, schlubby looking guys walking out with I forget if it was the Browns or maybe the Ravens, like some team that wasn't even a big competitor. They were in the opposing team's jersey, and they were just walking out. And the Patriots even won. Mm-hmm. And there was some furious guy walking behind them, just like, red faced, just like, yeah, go home. Like, yeah, you suck. Like, just like fear, like he wanted to fight, like that fighting kind of vibe.
Yeah, that's awful.
And and it was just like, what? He's just a guy that went to the game. But it's like, so you have that combination. They want to be part of the spectacle. They want to, they feel like, that tribal feeling, and it all combines to like
that's the bad side of the tribe, Dan.
Yeah.
Right. And I think people are looking sometimes for opportunity to express their hostility, their aggression, that they can somehow deem as socially acceptable. So in that case, they're wearing another jersey. Screw you. And then you see it, of course, with if somebody, posts something on Twitter that's not received well, then people just mercilessly rip them apart. Like, they're not going to let you apologize. Right. They want to express all their hostility.
Yeah, and like you said, it's the bad part of tribal association, tribal feelings. And I always roll my eyes too, because I always notice that these guys who want to attack someone in the opposing jersey, it's almost always someone smaller. They'll find a way to keep their temper under control if it's a couple huge guys.
I see what you're saying. Right.
It's always like someone that they can victimize and someone that doesn't look like they want any trouble, and right.
They're safe to express all this aggression and hostility.
Yeah. It's not like they're showing any bravery.
I've noticed that at local MMA fights, the people in the crowd that yell the most horrific, obnoxious, hostile things are the people least likely to ever be in a cage. They're the furthest away from that experience. So I think they somehow feel safe to be as ugly as possible.
Right. I've seen people, I feel like MMA events, people might have an image that the live events are, particularly violent or, fights in the stands. And what I've seen is this. I've seen when you go to local events, it's mostly gyms and people that fight and, people that train, and none of them want to fight. None of them want to fight.
Yeah.
None of them get too fired up. All of them understand fighting. They don't want to do it. They understand other people might be trained. And then at a UFC event, you see some people that look like, they have their shirts from some gym where they train. They never want to fight. It's always the people that maybe out of shape, maybe not in a gym.
Exactly.
Maybe they don't know anything about the sport, and they're just there to get drunk and start yelling and treat it like another event.
I think so. Yeah. I agree. I think at a local MMA event, there might be less chance of rowdiness or fighting in the stands than other sports, because people are thinking it's harder to assess the other guy's abilities.
Right.
So people are a little bit more respectful and cautious, because they're like, who knows? This guy may know what he's doing.
Yeah. But have you been to a UFC event?
I have. Yep.
Yeah, I've been to a few.
I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would. I'd rather watch it at home.
Yeah, I sort of heard it hyped a lot. The UFC sort of has this thing about there's nothing like it. You'll never. And some people come out of the event, celebrities, they'll say, there's no experience like that, like a live UFC event. I sort of don't know what they're talking about. To be honest,
no, I don't agree. Unless you're sitting very close.
Yeah, you can't see anything.
No.
And
I think if you go to a live local MMA event and you're
love them.
Close enough to really feel the action, that's impressive. You can feel the punches, hear the punches.
Yeah,
that's way different than watching it on TV or video. Or
like TD Garden, where I watch I watch it all on the screen, right? Because you're
so far away. Yeah.
So it's basically you're watching it on TV.
In a huge stadium,
yeah.
and you paid $200 or $300 for the privilege
Yeah.
of doing it. Yeah. Yeah, I probably will never go to another live event.
Yeah, I was at an event where it was like $600 a ticket for where we were sitting.
Oof.
And the guys, like, they were like 2 rows back and a couple seats over. Before the fight started, a guy throws up all over himself and passes out and is lying there in the vomit.
Oh, my God.
It was like, okay, money well
You're
spent,
like,
right? Yeah.
If I wanted this experience, I could have stayed home and done that myself.
But I was thinking also for that guy.
Oh,
It's like he
God.
got his $600 ticket. It's like he wakes up in some like cell or something.
That's awful. Yeah.
But that was my experience at all these things. That was Philadelphia, and a guy came over and took one of our seats when one of us got up.
Oh,
and
my
then we
God.
went to like chase him off, and he had a little bit of that vibe too, where he was just like a big guy with big friends, and they were starting crap with everyone around. You know, I'd spotted them earlier, and he sits in the seat, and I was like, oh no.
Yeah.
And then it's just the same thing where I guess we all had this confidence when we were talking to him that he just got a bad feeling and he just left. You know what I mean? It was sort of we were just calmly like, come on, you got to get up. You know.
Yep.
It was Ken was there and Steve was there. A few people. It was just sort of, you know, everyone was so calm that I think he got a weird vibe and left. But again, it's so annoying to me. You know, that's a $600 seat, and it's like there's a drunk
Oof.
picking a fight.
Yeah.
And then there's someone throwing up a few seats over.
That's crazy. Yeah.
But I don't know. They're fun too. I'm bad mouthing it a little more than they're all right. I mean, I'm overly bad mouthing it.
I'm too old now. I like to watch everything in the comfort of my house. So much better.
Yeah.
Okay, Dan, I think we got to wrap it up.
Yeah.
Another great episode in the can. So I'd like to tell our listeners, if you want to do some training in jiu-jitsu or Muay Thai kickboxing or MMA, please reach out to us at connorsma.com, connorsma.com. And please like and share this episode. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Subscribe to this podcast. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks.